Hello, Grizzlies! Welcome to another fabulous week of Grizzlies College of Reading. You guys are continuing to surprise me weekly with how much effort you're putting into this, and I'm so proud of you. And I know I say that every week, but I am genuinely surprised by how much effort we are giving ourselves to become better readers. I'm not doing this, your teacher's not doing this, you're doing this yourself. So thank you again for putting that effort into it each week. This week, our goal is to learn how to annotate or to closely read while we mark up that text that we're reading, that article. And this applies for all reading. Don't mark up all of your books, but for now, we're writing on paper. So we're going to use this time to be able to mark up our words and our text, and we'll talk about how we do that more a little bit later. But I want to talk about why. So writing on your text or writing on your article is basically an active reading strategy. We're doing it while we're reading, and it helps us use this strategy to identify the information in what we're reading, the text that we're reading, what is important in that text, right? And that helps us identify the purpose that we're reading it for. And this strategy has three distinct ways for us to mark up: by numbering paragraphs so we can identify where the next idea starts or continues, underlining and circling. So I'm sure that you guys have done this before, and if you haven't, I encourage you to help the people or to ask the people around you how to do it. And if you're doing it correctly, use those coaches that are in your class. Now, this is just a simple way that we're using annotating. Your teacher will give you this paper to help you learn it the first few times and get used to it. But our annotation marks, we're going to use not with sticky notes, we're just using it with our pencil this time, is that we want to star important words or phrases, things that we think are very important in our article. We want to make sure that those tricky words, we can just put a TW next to them. Tricky or unfamiliar words. Those are words maybe that we're having a hard time with understanding, that even if we chunk that word, we still don't know what it means. Putting a question mark to something that we don't understand. Maybe it's a concept or an idea that's new to us that we're not really sure, or maybe when we read it the first time, we didn't get it. An exclamation point next to something that we thought was amazing, that we were surprised about, information maybe that was new to us that we thought was really cool. A check mark if we understand an idea or concept, that might be a check mark next to an entire paragraph. Has anyone seen this infinity mark? I'm sure you have. That means connection, something that I have a personal connection with, you have a personal connection with when you're reading. And any comments or questions that you have, you can just write on the piece of paper. Now, why is this important? Why are making these marks on our paper important? Well, annotating helps us pay attention and engages us to reading, right? And the next reason is that it helps us understand what we're reading while we're reading. Remember the active learning. And it gives us something to say. You know, when your teacher is asking you to have an example or an idea or a reason in those connecting summaries, that is going to help you have something to say when you've annotated. The next thing is it saves time. You're thinking about it a long time, right? When you've read something, well, now you could just go back to your notes and say, well, I remember this is when I made a connection here. It saves us time later. The other things is that annotating really helps us understand something. When we're connecting it, it helps us and encourages us to make connections with the passages that we're reading and to ultimately understand and comprehend it, right? That's the goal of us to read, is to understand and comprehend anything that we're reading. So your job this week with annotating is to choir read or to read together with your partner for the first time, still whisper reading, so we don't distract other people. Annotating with the pencil, that's together, talk about it. Then read after that the next time for your words per minute. Then fill out your form. I promise you this is going to help you get your words per minute up and help you comprehend what you're reading. Thank you so much for being part of Grizzlies College of Reading. Have another great, fabulous week. Go Grizzlies. Grr.